It's funny because people who have a job and have a 9 to 5 will oftentimes make a person who is starting their own business feel guilty about starting their own business. Like, if you told somebody that you were earning or making, 20 or $30,000 a month in real estate, for example, they would call you trashy, and it's not good etiquette to share your income. Why would you do that? Oh, they're trying to sell a course on real estate. Well, why not? Like, why make somebody feel guilty about that when most people, probably them, they're probably making four or five, $6,000 a month. And so this other person's showing you what's possible. And instead of saying, I wonder what I could do to earn better for my family, I know what I'll do. I'll hate on this person instead. I'll try to give them a lesson of morality. I'll try to teach them about doing the right things, about how money's not important. But in reality, you know that money is important to you. It's important to you just like it's important to every person. Because without it, you find yourself in a position where you cannot take care of yourself the way that you need to. See, there is no shame in earning a living on your own. It's funny because in many cases, those who are too afraid to take chances, those who are too afraid to step into themselves, those who are too afraid to start their own business, whether it doesn't matter what the niche is or the field is. Look, in the world that we're in right now, like, there's so many things that you can do to earn money online. It's unbelievable. But those who are afraid to do all these things try to bring down the dreamer, the one who's actually doing the stuff. And I'm telling you something right now. Do not fall victim to their plans. What plans, might you ask? Well, the plan is simple. Make you feel guilty about doing what you do, so then that way they can have another person who stops chasing their dreams because they are not chasing their own dream. Like, it's that simple. And so, you know, it's about overcoming fears, right? Forgive me as I adjust the camera here. See, it's about overcoming the fear of judgment. That's really what it is, right? Overcome judgment. Overcome judgment. Overcome the fear of failure. Overcome the fear of embarrassment. The world is categorized in two types of people. You have those who do and those who do not. Let me tell you what the people who do have going on. Well, let me tell you what they don't have. What do the people who do, the people who do the things, what don't they have? Well, they don't have the time to hate. They don't have the time to hate. I can tell you that right now. They do not have the time to hate. They don't have the time to hate on you, on your content. They don't have the time to dig into your comments, to make you feel bad about something. They just don't have the time for it. They don't have the time to criticize you. They just don't have the time. They're focused on doing something that is going to require a lot of energy from them. And so they're doing that. Now let's talk about what the people who do not do the things, right? The people who do not have the goals or the dreams, the mindset. Well, what do they have? Well, they do have time. Why do they have time? Because they're not working on their dreams. Imagine that. Imagine a world where people who do not do things have more time. Of course, that's why they're broke. That's why they work for somebody else until they die. That's why they're waiting for Social Security or their VA disability or whatever else that they've been tricked into thinking is going to save them. And then it'll make you feel guilty along the way. What else do the people who do not chase their dreams have? Well, they have no shame. They are not afraid to look stupid. Like, they have yet to realize that cyberbullying makes them look bad. And the real problem is because when you think about the percentage of people in this world that are actually completely mediocre and average, not even just in lifestyle, but in thought, it actually is the majority of people. So it makes it seem like they're in the right. Like if you have a comment thread, right? At every comment thread about something, you see a post, and that post had some type of, content on it that, maybe it's a little cringe, or it's a little this, or it's a little that. Someone's exposing themselves, putting themselves out there. Maybe they're talking about their new business. Maybe they're talking about their income, or they're trying to show you a way to do something as well. Well, the majority of the comments, I'd say probably about 70% of them are going to come from people who are in the do not category, meaning they do not have any goals in the works. They do not have any dreams, which means they do not have shame, and they do not have anything else happening. So they have time to do these things, right? And so like 70% of them are going to be these trolls, as we call it. We have their own name, trolls. And the expectation is that you don't get upset by these people. That's the expectation. And it's a good expectation to have, because the truth is, what is it going to do for you if you do decide to get upset? Well, it can't do much, right? You can't do much, especially when you start to build a platform for yourself. You don't want to seem fazed by the mediocre, by the sheep. A lion does not get fazed by the sheep. He doesn't get annoyed by them until it's time to kill them all. Unfortunately, that's how it works, right? And so the 30% of people who are supportive, well, it could be more than that, but the reality is a lot of people lack courage. They lack the courage to stand up for what they agree to see. They lack the courage to say, well, you know what, bro, you guys are tripping. That's actually a really good idea. Why would we not listen to what she or he has to say? They lack the courage to do that. And so, a lot of times you'll have more people in the comments section that are haters, negative, violent, honestly stupid, ignorant, like just poorly built folks. You know what I mean? Just bad minds. And so, they're poisoned by the world. They're poisoned by the world. They masturbate every single day. They don't save any money. They don't really treat their friends right. Their friends don't treat them right. They probably have drinking problems. They've been cheated on, and they cheat on. Like, they're just not good people. They don't live good lives. They probably don't follow Christ. Like, the reality is they don't follow Christ. And if you are an internet troll and you claim to be a follower of Jesus, just stop, because that is definitely not, like, you're going to hell for sure. So just understand that. Don't be a fraud, right? But like, in this digital world, it's not cool to be a person who chases their dreams. In the digital world, it is not cool to be a person who succeeds, because there's so many people who are average, mediocre, can't figure out how to make an additional dollar that will make you feel bad about how you earn your money, that will make you feel bad about wanting to expand your business, right? They have yet to grasp the concept that there is something called an exchange of value for an exchange of money. They think that every single time that somebody hands you money, that you're the bad guy, not recognizing that they're in the position that they're in because they refuse to learn something new, because they refuse to take a chance, because they refuse to work with somebody to help them. Instead, they'd rather give their money to the big corporations, give their money to freaking Nike. They'd rather give their money to Louis. They can't even afford it, so they don't do that. But they'd rather give their money to Budweiser than to give it to somebody who's going to help them reach their dream. And that's the conundrum that we live in right now. So if you get hated on by people because you're chasing your dreams, don't worry about it. It is not cool to start this thing. But you're going to be looking really cool when you finally make it happen. And they look cool now. Everyone's liking their comments now. But in 10 or 20 years, when they're watching you on the sidelines, they're going to remember trolling on you. And they're going to say, man, I wonder if he'll give me a job. Watch and see.